We have the market open coming up in just a bit from now, and we've got 10 seconds. So what do we have? First rates. Let's look at indices first, and then we'll get into individual names. A third lower on the Sensex, a quarter lower on the mid-cap index. Bank Nifty is, it's like fluttering between green and red. But I think we'll have firmer rates coming up. They're all on your screen now. It's lower. So about 100 points lower on the Nifty, 22,840. I mean, every day like clockwork, at least for the last 2 days, you used to start around this 22,830, 840 level and not below. And then, of course, like yesterday, there was a bit of a recovery, and then that recovery was sold into and we ended flat. So let's see what happens today. The Sensex is down 300. You've got the Nifty Bank, which is down about 180 points, 0.4 lower. IT index is up on your screen. And 660 higher and about 700 lower. Yesterday, advanced decline was quite positive. Today, it's mixed. It's almost evenly matched, at least at the word go. The heat map will come up on your screen as well. We'll look at what the Nifty 50 screen is looking like. Should be more down than up, looking at where the indices have opened. But let's get to stocks. Surabhi.
It's already looking good, Prashant, and I'll tell you why I'm saying that, because look at the mid-cap index. It had a cut of about 0.6% at open. It's already recovered. It's flashing a little bit of green, and the bulls will really want to see this continue. But anyway, on the large caps, let's see where the pressure is coming in from. ITC is down about 1.5%, and okay, now the auto stocks are falling, taking note of the SIAM commentary. So Maruti 1% lower, M&M is lower by about 1%, Eicher is down by about 0.5%, Hero is down by about 0.5%. So yes, auto is a bit weak. Then there is HDFC Bank. It's exerting a fair amount of downside pressure, 1% lower. Other heavyweights lower include L&T. There's TCS, which is lower by about 0.5% as well. You've got names like Titan and Tata Consumer, Nestle on the consumer side. So a couple of these consumer stocks are lower. Lever itself is down about 0.5%. So consumers also weak. Now let's talk about what's actually moving higher. There's some buying on a couple of financial names. Shriram Finance is the Nifty winner at this point in time, 1% up there. SBI Life and HDFC Life. The life insurers are having a pretty decent morning, so far at least. And Infosys is fighting hard to stay on the top side of the screen, but let's see if it can continue or not, because otherwise it's looking a little weak. The Nifty fall, by the way, is about 80 points at the start. Some financials up. Reliance is a big one. It's sitting on the fence. Depending on which way it goes, obviously the Nifty will follow, but 80 points lower for the time being. Nigel.
Well, let's pull up a few stocks. Yesterday, JBM Auto, they won a big order towards the end of trade. That stock is seeing some follow-through buying today. It's up closer around 3%. Acme Solar, Nimesh had told us in D-Street Chatter yesterday that, in fact, that was seeing some bit of interest from larger hands. In today's trading session as well, that stock is up closer on 2.5%. So JBM Auto, Acme Solar, both of them are higher in trade. Borosil Renewables, it's been moving from circuit to circuit. Last few quarters have been weak. The management has promised better times ahead. They're talking about margins back at around 30% because of the duties that they've got in terms of protection for the domestic industry. It's up another 5%, moving circuit to circuit. Vare, they won an order, I think a small one, 280 or 300 megawatt of order for their modules. So that one as well had opened up initially in the green. I think, for these companies, the big test will come once that lock-in opens up. For the time being, the stock is up 2%, building on post-yesterday's 2% returns. Zen Technologies, at least for starters, that's building on to gains. That is one of the top volume gainers today. So I think we should pull that up. That's up closer around 5%, following up yesterday's big surge that we saw of around 10%. Remember, the stock is still 45% off its peak, but for starters, it's higher. Cyient, they have a new top boss, who's been appointed, and the street likes that. So Cyient is a stock that's up close to around, I think, 2.5% or thereabouts. Mr. Banerjee has come on board. The stock had corrected from around, I think, 1,750 all the way to around 1,400 rupees. So that as well is popping back up. Netweb, the stock that's down 40% in this year. Well, that stock, in fact, has opened up in the green and is trying to pull back some of those losses. On the losing end, Bikaji is a stock that's giving back some of that rally that we saw in the last couple of trading sessions. So Bikaji, I think, is down now close to around 3% or thereabouts. So it's a negative start. Advanced decline ratio, even Stevens as we speak. Interesting times. The Nifty is defending the 22,800 mark yet again.
Well, so we're down about, 70 points now, and we're at 22,860. Just a couple of more names. Rate gain is something we highlighted day before yesterday, and this morning Deepan had it on his watch list. So from the lows of about 500, actually maybe it fell, it did fall under 500. This was on Tuesday, the low was about 475. It's back to about 516, 515, 516. Decent sized volumes as well for this point of the day. Nothing extraordinary, but decent sized volumes. Delta Corp is, I think, almost back in 3 digits. So almost, not quite. Delta Corp will come up on your screen. Again, I mean, here the low earlier this week was about 89. So that's bounced. There is a car trade which is coming up with small gains, but nothing big. There is Tata Investment Corp, which was up 14% yesterday, and it's up another 7%. Tata Investment Corp is just a sort of, stock holding company. It has a high quality, mostly large cap, some mid cap names as well, which it holds, and that's essentially the business. So it's like a fund. You can buy the stock, and it kind of reflects the value of the underlying portfolio, and that's about 8% in the green. That's 25% in 2 days. Vivek was talking about NHPC, that's about 1.33% higher. And I think the others we mentioned, Zentech, Nigel mentioned, Netweb we mentioned, Netweb back above 1,500 rupees. And maybe throw in a Tata Tech as well, which is up about 2.6, 2.7% at this point in time.
361, wealth management. Just thought I'll put that up. I think
Yeah.
the market's trying to see if it wants to go back to some of these capital market plays. Yesterday, BSE had a great day. Let's just pull up BSE as well. And this morning, it's 361, which is showing a gain of about 3%.
Absolutely. Let's just look at maybe IIFL as well, since we're looking at this one. IIFL is the other one, which is, but that's a NBFC, but 313, completely bombed out, right? But the top volume-led loser, by the way, is, guess what? Mahindra & Mahindra. M&M is down 2%, 2.5%. So, and it's got humongous volumes. It's number one volumes on the NSE. Mazgaon, and I think I see one or two other defense names, they were all up 8-10%. Mazgaon at least is down 2.5%. And the other one, which I've not seen any news flow with regards to, is Credit Access. Credit Access was down 7%, 8% by close yesterday. It's down another 3%. So 867 on Credit Access. It's been in this 850 to 1100 kind of zone for a while now. And once again, it's back to the lower end of this range.